And the last member of Raizen's friends is Den Hao. Den Hao. Den Hao. Den Hao. Den Hao was one of the ones that was, he was there. He was, fucking letting them know that he was still around. He was, shooting his energy off, and they're like, an animal that's still out there and shit, right? Then he goes into the tournament and he fights against, people in his block. He fends these weak ass animals off, weaker demons who are trying to become Demon King. Then he fights against other people in the rounds, and well, he ends up losing. This guy is, kind of not talked about. He's part of the group of 9 demons and shit that came out of nowhere. But like out of all of them, I think he's like the weakest one, or like very close by. He's like I'll tell you what his power score is. But I'm just, oh fuck. Saying that these animals, these demons, how it worked was like this. So a long time ago, and I'm telling you during this, like I'm trying to make it quick though. Like thousands of years ago, human and demon were like the same, and then like Koema and or not Koema, but King Yama, split the 3 worlds. Put a Kakai net up for like demon world, and then human world, and then spirit world, and all that shit, ended. When that shit ended, demons were still coming across and other things. It wasn't quite like regulated like it is, in the current time. But I say that to say that, Ryzen and his friends used to run around and fuck around in the human world and like kill shit and then run around and fight each other too. They went back to demon world to fight each other. But then Ryzen was like, no, man, I like, because they were still thinking about eating humans and shit. And he's like, no, man, I can't do that no more. And um, Den Hao was like, well, what the fuck? We're demons and we eat humans. And he's like, well, we can't do that shit no more. I don't do it. And then they left, and then he came back to his base house, and he's like, man, that's still my friend and shit. But he fought in the tournament and shit still. I'm just saying this shit to like say that, those demons really did care about Rising and shit. They were really, cool with each other. But strength is a 95% with his speed at a 94%. 95 for his durability, and a 93 for his endurance, a 92 for his intelligence, and a 95 for his experience, but a 92 for his close skills and a 92 for his range skills, a 90 for his recoup, and a 93 for his hacks. So his overall power score is a 93.2 for Den Hao. Don't ask me how Den Hao became a thing. He just did, and that's Yoshihiro Tagashi. But be cool, Koala in the corner.